Today, the men in black with the yellow stripe across their shoulders. There's so many to choose from. Lots of riders want a piece of early action, and rather surprisingly, CCC Sprandi Polkovici also up there, looking after Rebelin, making sure he doesn't get caught behind any gaps late on. No real sprinter to talk of. We asked our Polish colleagues who they'd like to talk up, and they said maybe Taciak, but a nice guy, but probably not going to be the man. Who will it be? We'll find out in 10.
On the right-hand side, again, you can see the team of Drapac Porsche. They've already tried to come up about 2 or 3 kilometres ago, got swept away and having to make the effort again. So again, a lot of these teams are not really holding their position at the front. The World Tour teams of Lotto Soudal and Etix just constantly being at the front, but other teams are coming up, disappearing, coming up, disappearing, and it's all about maintaining your position within the peloton.
Francesco Chicchi looks like he's going to do it all on his own today. He's divorced from his team and seems quite happy to actually be there. That's Androni Giacottoli. To describe it, it would be blue with orange and many other colours as well, a bit like a bad pizza. 9.4 kilometres to go, and Colombia are setting the pace right now. They've decided to pick this one up, and Bardiani, not to be denied, but for the time being looking slightly ragged on behalf of Ruffoni, who looks like he's been disengaged from his teammates and is fighting to get back in that lime green altogether. Lotto Soudal in the red, still staying safe, and cleverly MTN Quebec are bringing Theo Boss into position right now. The long line, including Mark Cavendish, of white, black and blue to the left-hand side, and staying close at hand to them is Caleb Ewan and Alan Blythe for Orica Green Edge likewise. So still a lot of options. Vini Fantini certainly have some.
A lot of teams actually losing their sprinter and they kind of splitting up. I can see on the left-hand side some of the riders from MTN Quebec, and actually Theo Boss is over on the other side of the road, and they're trying to get in order. But just look at the World Tour teams of Lotto Soudal and Etix Quick-Step. They're just constantly staying in one line, letting the other teams battle out, because there's a lot of change of teams at the front of the peloton, because people realise they bring their sprinter up, all of a sudden they hit the wind at the front of the peloton, can't hold it, and yet still on the left-hand side, controlled efforts from Lotto Soudal and Etix Quick-Step, waiting to pounce. Still 8 kilometres to go to the finish, but we've still got a battle from many of the other teams.
Look how messy it is on the right-hand side of the road. It's where a huge scrap's going on at the moment. Left-hand side of the road, so right-hand side as you look at it on this heads-up. A much calmer affair, and that's where you find the real pro teams, those who really have done this before. Lotto Soudal there in the red. Here come the black and white of MTN Quebec. Theo Boss clearly feels motivated and up for this today. Just behind Etix Quick-Step, hugging the curb for the time being, and just showing themselves as well. The Southeast team in the grey, being driven on by Alessandro Patacchi on behalf of Machado and Belletti. So here we are, 7.2 to go, and still it's a bit messy. And don't forget, we got that big pinch in about 4K's time.
Yeah, we've had plenty of battles, a lot of teams coming up towards the front of the peloton, but yet it's still Lotto Soudal and Etix Quick-Step over on the left-hand side. They've sat there all the way along this road, just controlling things. Do not panic in these situations. You're right, Carlton. It's all about experience. All the other teams have come to the front. Now they've kind of blown back into the peloton. It's about keeping it steady, keeping a steady rhythm, keeping the whole team together. And it does look as if Lotto Soudal and Etix Quick-Step have done a very good job up until now.
Yes, looking a bit twitchy, Etix, I've got to say. They're looking all around themselves. Ilio Kaiser it was that just hit the front. He famously in 2012 getting an amazing victory here. He's working for others today, and of course he'll be teeing up Mark Renshaw and of course finally Mark Cavendish for those men. They're keeping it very sensible. Look how busy it is on the right hand side of the road. The left is where the old heads, the experienced boys are, and they drift over now heading towards the right into space. This is to tee themselves up to make that little turn, that transition safely. They'll have to, once they take this shorter route through in about 2.5 K's time, they'll then drift over. Andrei Greipel just looks looks very, very possessed at the moment. He's a man who is in control of his destiny, he believes, and it was away from Mark Cavendish, former teammate. He came here, of course, almost banished to Turkey all those years ago for basically just not wanting to lead Mark Cavendish out anymore. Well, he came here and found victory, and since then this event has grown. So has the statue of Andre Greipel, and the peloton splits into two bunches right now, and it's almost alto verso. Etap's quick-step on the left-hand side, Lotto on the other. Greipel just wanted a bit of space, something to work with.
Yeah, Lotto, Soudal now moved over into the right-hand side of the road, but it looks as if they have been depleted in numbers. Greipel sitting just behind Adam Hansen, being swept away now by the movement of Topsport Vlaanderen. But just look at the Etap's quick-step boys. Elio Kaiser leading the way, still with numbers, all 6 riders lined up with Mark Cavendish at the back, just sitting and waiting to pounce.
Well, just be careful when you assemble yourselves into fighting order as they take this lazy right-hander. They'll be doing the transition in a few moments' time. They're just heading onto the coastal section, and then they have to drift onto the left-hand side of the road. And it's Orica Greenedge who've come to the fore. Masterful almost. Well, we'll find out.
Well, this is the perfect time to start leading out. We said that as soon as you come onto the coast, it's lining up well for Orica Greenedge with the Jens Morris right at the front. Adam Blythe is the lead-out man for Caleb Ewan. So Orica Greenedge leading the way, but just to their left-hand side, you can see the train of Etap's quick-step coming up.
Here they come. They've kept it nice and relaxed. Orica have been first of the major teams to reach out once everyone else has finished with their skirmishing, and the pace that they can maintain, it's been called for an increase. Etap's quick-step want to get to the front. Go, 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 they say. That's Mark Cavendish who will have been at that behest of that. With 4.2 kilometres to go, it'll be when the 3K marker. So they've essentially got this 1,000 metres right now until the transition. It's more important than you might have thought. Other teams are alive to the fact as well. The Lotto move up.
Yeah, panic stations on the left-hand side. There's a lot of other teams that are trying to come up. Again, it's remaining calm, under 4 kilometres to go to the finishing line. Torcoeur there, they've got their man in position. Drapac Pasher coming up, Porsche coming up for in the Reds and the left-hand side. United here also there.
Brendan Jones it is for Drapac then, the Australian. He's their chosen man. Lotto Soudal, where are they? It's a big question. They're just to the left-hand side of your screen, coming up with Lamprey right now. They've kind of reassembled themselves, but Greipel's at the back of a quartet. Looking at the grey team in the middle, that is the Alessandro Pataki's team of Southeast. And look at Etap's. They're just a little bit disengaged at the moment. This is the race for the turn before the sprint.
Yeah, 3 kilometres to go now, and a lot of the teams have now been swept away. The Italian team's prominent towards the front of Nippo Fantini, and also you've just got the Lamprey riders, but they're really chaotic sprint at this moment as that spectator just jumps out the way.
Yeah, it just gets out of the way in time. Roberto Ferrari and Sasha Modolo, both of whom here very capable, and they're both here for Lamprey.
They are, but yet again Sabatini salvages the lead-out train for Mark Cavendish. Sabatini is leading the way, just coming up on the left-hand side, but still very, very messy sprint.
Wide open. Here we go then. They've got to make this transition and then start gunning for the line. They know that the right-hand side of the road is the place to be because they'll sweep left. It does get compressed, don't forget, once we hit it. And still they're looking around, trying to just find their teammates as road is running out. Here we are then. How much space do you need? Well, probably a bit more than's available, to be honest. They drift over to the left-hand side of the road right now. It's an early punt, I think, for Brendan Jones, but far too early. They're weaving all over the place, and now we're getting down to the action order. Still, Mark Cavendish has got plenty of firepower here.
Yeah, they're all looking for the lead-out man. Really, really messy at the moment. And the left-hand side, you can just see the riders from Etap's quick-step eventually getting towards the front, and the rider at the front of the peloton is in fact Sabatini. Sabatini behind him, you've got Lamprey and Orica Greenedge. Just behind them, you've got Boonen, Mark Renshaw and Mark Cavendish waiting to go.
1,600 metres to go, and here we are then. quick transition coming a little bit later than we perhaps thought earlier on. 1,500 metres to go, and they switch over to the other side of the road right now. They can see the finish line. They can almost smell it, and now it's time to go. Adam Blythe being guided in here. Caleb Ewan, beg your pardon, being guided in by Adam Blythe, but it's Tinkoff Saxo that hog the front right now. They're running out of room. There's not much available, and there's going to be elbows involved. Andre Greipel decides he wants more vision than more preferable to have vision than a lead-out man. Oh, and he's starting to just compress one of the Bardiani boys. Andre Greipel prepared to use his shoulders. He's got Mark Cavendish on a trio up front. As far as Greipel's concerned, he's just disengaged for the time being. Here they come then. The graphic has disappeared because it was in error. Sorry for the confusion about that. Still got a long, long way to go. Still about 2 Ks by my reckoning. 500 metres, I beg your pardon. There we are, foreshortening, I beg your pardon. Here comes Mark Cavendish. It's Renshaw who's got him right now. Who can keep up? And indeed, who might use this? There's Greipel looming large as he goes to the barriers. Greipel's using space. He's got Mark Cavendish going out front. Mark Cavendish lights it up. Has he gone too early? There are others on his case right now. This is Caleb Ewan also in the mix. Oh, it's a race for the line. Whose arms up first? Mark Cavendish is the answer. Goodness me, Brian. Sorry about the confusion at the end as far as the distance is concerned, but no doubt about the winner, Mark Cavendish. Well, it looked a bit ragged towards the end. It was a fight for space. I guess Eric Quickstep stayed calmest of all. And to be honest, Mark, when he crossed the line, looked relaxed.
A very busy sprint, but Mark Cavendish delivered in the end. He's the rider sitting third Wales. Tom Boonen that led out, Mark Renshaw taking up. Still 500 metres to go, a long, long way to go. A lot of pushing and shoving behind. Greipel on his own at this moment. No, he's got one lead-out man right in front of him, but at this stage, looked as if 300 metres to go. Mark Renshaw hits the front, nice and calm. Cav looks behind him, sees Sasha Modolo on the wheel, sets out his sprints, just comes over on Modolo on the left-hand side, blocks the way of Greipel, straight line all the way to the finish, takes the stage one. Fantastic.